TOOC Reviews. I'm Quan, and I got a special guest with me. Introduce yourself.
What's up? What's up? It's your boy Just the Homie. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
I'll admit, like, Spider-Man No Way Home, it was everything I wanted it to be. But the theater experiences was kind of mid because while you had the people who were there to just enjoy the movie, it was these damn kids who would not shut up. Like, was it like that for you?
The movie theater was a vibe. I feel like if you wanted to see No Way Home and you wanted to be around like-minded individuals, you wanted to be at the movie theater. So it was a vibe for me. Like I can see like it wasn't all that for everybody.
By the way, this will be filled with spoilers, so if you ain't seen the movie, click off now. I actually liked how the plot was and how it included everything in the multiverse. Everyone found out who Spider-Man was, and that started to ruin his life. Basically, when he went to Doctor Strange, it was weird to me because, okay, they wanted to have the spell to where everyone forget who he is, but he did have no control over it, and saying that if one person forgets, everyone forgets. So that was like a small little plot hole, but to sum it up, everything got messed up, and then it started bringing every other villain from the separate multiverses.
I actually love the plot. I do feel like they should have hinted at and brought in the multiverse during other movies. I don't think they should have full-fledged like put multiverse people in there without hinting at it first. I don't think they hinted at it enough. I feel like they missed out on opportunities to bring in people like the X-Men because of the multiverse incident. But as far as the plot, like I like where they took it.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was kind of heated at what Peter did. The fact that this man brung him to their damn house, and I hate to say it, but he basically got his Aunt May killed.
Like I feel like the scene, the scene when he was on the roof crying, right?
Oh yeah.
I feel like that was a defining moment. They've been through those hardships. As far as our Peter, like he's introducing correct me if I'm wrong, but he's introducing Civil War, right?
Oh yeah.
He introduces his child idol, and he's like, "Yo, we never even get to say his Uncle Ben." Like, so all we know is this childish Peter who wants to be a hero, but he never truly knows what a hero is. We know Tony Stark has been through hell and back. We know he's been through the cave. We know he's almost lost Pepper. We know he's almost lost his mind, lost his life plenty of times trying to be Iron Man. And I feel like Tony sheltered him from having to be that as Spider-Man. I feel like him dealing with that helped him see his hardships as Spider-Man are also going to bring hardships as Peter Parker as well. And I feel like we haven't really seen him accept that. He hasn't had to go through anything where like, yo, I can't trust anybody. Like I have to move how these other heroes move. He hasn't had that defining moment. I feel like he had that defining moment in this movie.
And to segue into another thing I want to discuss, because I'm glad you brought up the three Peters. We got to see Toby, Andrew, and Tom all in the same movie. Literally, probably one of the best parts of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But who was the strongest Spider-Man? Because like you said, until his Aunt May died, that was probably the biggest hardship that he had to face. Andrew had to face Gwen dying, which was tough for him, and then made him basically ruthless. But if you look at everything that Toby went through, him watching his Uncle Ben die, him basically killing a dude who killed his uncle, having to fight the Green Goblin, even watching his best friend Harry die. To me personally, I just say, to answer that, Toby is definitely the strongest Spider-Man to me. What you think?
You are, to me, you're definitely correct, and I don't think it's close. I don't think, if you want to say that they're all Spider-Man, if you want to go the route that they're all Spider-Man, so they all have the same potential to be as strong as they need to be. The thing that makes Toby the strongest Spider-Man is you see the scene when Tom was about to kill Green Goblin, he just stopped it effortlessly.
Yeah.
I feel like what makes him the strongest Spider-Man is that he can draw that strength without his emotion being intact. I feel like the experience is what makes him so much stronger than any other Spider-Man.
To segue into like all the villains, like Jamie Foxx, Electro, he was hella entertaining. But when it came to setting that vibe of like shit's about to get real and we gonna see what kind of resolve you have, Green Goblin or Hobgoblin, whatever you want to call him, was the best villain.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they talked about getting help, you seen like shit got real. So I say Green Goblin was the best villain in this movie, hands down.
Yeah, no, he definitely is hands down the best villain. He's the only one that had a plan in mind from the moment he dropped down into the new universe. I feel like a lot of them were lost. Like we could see when we first met Electro, he was lost. When we first met Doc Ock, he was lost. All of them were lost when they first got to when they got to the new universe. The only person that took an initiative and did something different was William Dafoe's Green Goblin, where he pulled up on Aunt May. And I feel like, to me, I feel like they made it hard to like see whenever he was gonna be Green Goblin or not. I feel like he was Green Goblin a lot more than they actually showed. And as far as talking about who was the best villain, plot wise, I also feel like Andrew Garfield, plot wise, was the best Spider-Man. We seen Toby live in apartments. We seen him go through villain after villain. We seen him go through hardship. We seen him become the villain and have to tear yourself down and bring yourself back up to be the hero. We've gotten all we can out of Toby. We got so there was no room to grow. Tom, he grew a lot in that time span, and I believe in these next coming Spider-Man movies, we're gonna see the results of his growth. But Andrew, they redeemed him. I feel like he was emotional the whole time. Like he was emotional the whole time, and that's something we don't get to see a lot from Spider-Man. Him being emotional was like, yo, I've been fighting my villains, not pulling my punches, but meeting these other Spider-Mans finally gave him somebody. He probably doesn't have anybody because of the situation he's in as Spider-Man. Last time we checked with Andrew Garfield, but now he met these Spider-Men. He's growing. He was able to save Mary Jane. You see how he cried after he saved Mary Jane. He was like, yo, like, this is my defining moment. He needed that saving of Mary Jane. I think he needed to meet those Spider-Man to show that he is valued.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a great breakdown for real. Doctor Strange pretty much had cast that spell and made everybody forget who he was. So we seen Tom pretty much move out of his aunt's apartment, and he's finally learning like this is what it's gonna take to actually be the hero. Future wise, like if they do more movies, they're gonna it's gonna come back around, and he's actually gonna meet Ned and MJ again. But it's gonna be a lot more. But it's gonna be a lot darker than the friendship that we seen them have this whole time.
I believe him choosing not to put them back in a situation where they can get too involved in his life is probably the most mature thing we've ever seen this Peter Parker do. I'm very interested in how he takes their relationship going further.
When it comes to rating this movie, now there was a couple of plot holes and little stuff that I didn't like. However, when it came to just the overall enjoyment of this movie, it didn't necessarily ruin it for me. I'll still give it 10 out of 10. What would you rate it?
Yeah, like I think we talked about this before. Like without nostalgia points, I would give it an 8 out of 10. With the nostalgia, I think it's a 10 out of 10 movie. I think it was executed well. I used to watch a thing called Cinema Sins. No movies without sin, is what they used to say. Granted, yeah, this movie has its plot holes.
Right.
Granted, you have to kind of like just throw it in like it's fiction. Somebody had to write it, and they like it ain't like our job as the viewer is to be like, yo, that this isn't that. But I feel like for what it was a great movie.
Absolutely. And what y'all think? Comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, stay strong and don't take what we say out of context. Peace and love.
Peace and love.